What is going on, community? It is TJ, aka Flash by Night, and we are back here catching up with the comics. That is right, we are catching up with the comics again. For those who don't know, whenever I catch up with the comics, it's something that I may have missed, that I need to read, that I felt compelled to go back and catch up with and check out. And today, we are catching up with Hulk, issue number 1 through 3 by Donny Cates, art by Ryan Ottley, and I wanted to catch up on it for two reasons. Number one, there is a lot of talk in the community about how the Hulk run currently is not the same as the Immortal Hulk. It is a step down. It is not great. Some people are voicing their displeasure with the book, and I wanted to check it out and see what I would think about it. And B, I kind of grabbed 2 or 3 variants of the first few issues of Hulk, and I was like, well, if I'm going to have the variants, I may as well read them. And so that's what we're going to do. So, first issue of the Hulk, I have a blank cover. Eventually, I'm going to get someone to do some art on it. Maybe, if anyone sees this and has an idea, maybe like some Moon Knight art with maybe Steven or Mark down here and like Moon Knight drawn real big, kind of like the Hulk number 1 issue. But that's neither here nor there. What I really want to talk about is the idea of Starship Hulk. So in issue number 1, we basically find out through Bruce Banner and through Doctor Strange that Bruce has figured out some way to compartmentalize almost. He is taking the Hulk's physical form, but he has separated his mind and kind of put himself in the captain's chair of the Hulk, and also taken his rage and kind of made his rage what he calls the engine room. So he separated Bruce Banner from the Hulk, and he separated the rage from the Hulk, and he's figured out how to use all 3 aspects to power what we call Starship Hulk, which is basically Hulk with a whole bunch of parts that he stole from an AIM facility, which is really interesting to me, because that means that basically Bruce, as the Hulk, went to this AIM facility, got a whole bunch of parts, and I'm not sure how he separated the pain receptors, but he has to stick all kind of nuts and bolts and everything onto the Hulk's body. I imagine that stung just a little bit. But as we get back into this story, these 3 personas are basically looking for a Tony Stark facility for a certain goal, and Tony is there to stop him in some kind of Hulk Buster armor. And we get the first of what I assume are going to be a few grotesque scenes throughout this run of Hulk, where basically Tony figures out how to use nano, adamantium, whatever, to ground the Hulk's arm to the ground. And the Hulk, basically, to get loose, rips part of his arm out just to get to Tony and get to his goal. His goal is this big machine. Almost looks like a big Iron Man armor, but it's really celestial technology that Tony has figured out how to use to go dimension hopping, and that's what Hulk wants to do. Bruce Banner wants to take the Hulk, this Starship Hulk, out of their dimension, and he didn't really say what his goal was. We haven't really heard, at least through the 3 issues, what his goal was going from one dimension to another, because we're going to find out in issue number 2 that he gets stopped. And so in issue number 2, which is one of my favorite covers. This variant with the Hulk mashed up with Kingpin. This is just a villain's reign thing. It has nothing to do with what's going on in the issue. But in issue number 2, Hulk first gets confronted by these interdimensional space guardians or whatever who are basically telling the Hulk that, you know, he's in the astral interdimensional plane and he needs to go back. And Hulk basically rips them limb from limb. How does he do that? By powering his rage engine and throwing monsters and a giant Wolverine and such at him. I don't know if the giant Wolverine comes in issue 2 or 3, but he's basically throwing all manner of things at the Hulk to make the Hulk angry and power the Starship Hulk that he is driving. But after he tears these interdimensional astral security people limb from limb, he basically gets attacked by what looks to be almost tractor beams trying to drag him into this orb, and he's fighting and fighting and fighting, trying to power the Hulk with more rage in the rage engine, which sounds kind of crazy, but I kind of like it. But he does all this, but at the end of the day, the tractor beams are too strong. They pull Bruce as the Hulk into this dimensional portal, which is where these beams are coming from. And when he lands, he meets with a guy who is this mysterious figure with glasses, and he and this figure kind of have a face-to-face, and he asks this figure who he is, and the figure is Bruce Banner. And that's how they kind of leave us off of issue number 2. And if you cannot tell, I like this a little bit more than other people. I'll tell you why I think that is. A, because I did not read Immortal Hulk. And I know people are going to say, Flash, you should read Immortal Hulk. And I'm going to say, I'm going to get to it. My I'm going to get to it pile is so long. I don't know if I'll ever get to what I say I'm going to get to now, let alone adding the 50-issue Immortal Hulk run. That's neither here nor there. Second reason why I'm enjoying this, I think, more than other people, is because I have this realization. And if you listen to me enough, you hear me say it 59, 60 times a year, which is with these legacy characters, with these characters that have been around for 50, 60, 70, 80 years, in order to try and keep them fresh, you have to throw stuff against the wall. You have to try new things, try different things. Some of it might be crazy, some of it may not be. If you said that there's going to be a zombie Hulk, which is what Immortal Hulk was, even though it was written very well, if you tell me Hulk dies, Hulk comes from the grave, I say zombie Hulk. 50 issues later, it is one of the greatest Hulk runs people have ever seen. And Starship Hulk, crazy idea. Who knows where it will land? Some people have soured on it already, but I kind of enjoy it. It's a crazy thing, a crazy attempt to do something. It is not that high level of a read. It's really elementary, really simple thus far, but I don't expect a whole lot more than that, at least on a regular basis, from a Hulk book. So that being said, we're going to get into Hulk issue number 3. And Hulk issue number 3 was really interesting because it is just one complete story of our Bruce Banner as the Hulk talking to this alternate world Bruce Banner trying to find out why he's there, who he is, what he's doing, and get more details on what's going on. And so in this book, you get this you get this tease of this event that happened in El Paso. Doctor Strange talks about it in the first issue, along with Doctor Strange and Cap. Both talk about it in the first issue about what happened in El Paso. And we get a preview of what happened in El Paso at the beginning of issue number 3, where something went wrong and the Hulk did a whole bunch of things that I think sent Bruce down this path to trying to control this Starship Hulk and trying to get away from everybody. That's what I think. We'll see. But the rest of the issue is basically about this other Bruce Banner telling our Bruce Banner that he has not been the Hulk. He realized the success of the gamma experiments and gathering the gamma energy. He kind of experienced the success until it was taken over by the government, and then it was used like you would think the government would use a weapon like that. But in the end, it ended up for all of the soldiers that it's been used on in other countries, in other places. Some of them survived and ended up being gamma monsters, basically. What you would think would happen to people exposed to gamma but not dying is that they end up being gamma monsters. And so we find out that this other dimension, this kind of voided zone that Bruce was in, where he got dragged back into by the other Bruce Banner, you find out that zone was created by this Bruce Banner to get rid of all of the monsters that pop up. He basically takes them and throws them to nowhere. If they pop up, if they survive any kind of conflict where this gamma weapon has been used. But it is not his fault. It is not what he wants, but it is the will of his father-in-law, President Thunderbolt Ross. And that's how issue number 3 ends up. And basically, it doesn't change my mind any. I'm still enjoying myself, still having fun with it. Like I said, it's not the most high level story in the world. It's got these big crazy ideas. I'm assuming that it goes even further and gets even crazier as we go along. I've been reading Thor by Donny Cates, and I know that right now we're in the middle of the Banner of War, I think. And so I really want to catch up on Hulk before I jump into the Banner of War, which is another reason for starting to read these issues. But issues number 1 through 3 overall were pretty solid for what they were. Like I said, I think people coming off Immortal Hulk probably want something in that vein. And if I understand Immortal Hulk right, this is nowhere in the vein of Immortal Hulk, which probably throws people off, which probably turns people off. But right now, I'm having fun with this run, and I hope they keep it up. But all that being said, I hope you saw something you liked. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did enjoy yourself, go ahead, hit that like button. And if you want to keep up with me, catching up with the comics, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Please feel free to leave comments. Tell me what you thought of or are thinking of the Hulk run so far. Let me know if, without spoiling, but let me know if the story gets either better or worse with time. Let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think about my premise of having to throw stuff at the wall because the character's been around for 50, 60, 70 years. Because I feel like having the characters around that long and always having books going, sooner or later you're going to run out of ideas and you got to go with the crazy stuff. And this crazy stuff for me is working. But as we always do at this time, love yourself, love others, and I will be back in a flash.